What's poppin', dogs? Mr. Allen here with some solving of quadratic equations using none other than the legendary quadratic formula. All right, so these two are actually not factorable, plus the directions say I have to use the quadratic formula. So what's rule number one when it comes to solving using the quadratic formula? I got to set this thing equal to 0. I'm going to start on the right side here. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and now I have 3x squared plus 5x minus 1 equals 0. Now I'm ready to use the quadratic formula. And it might be helpful to write down your A, B, and C. Some just jot it down above, A, B, and C, or below, depending on where you have room. Or you can even write down that, let's see here, A equals 3, B equals 5, and C equals -1. And now I'm just ready to rock and roll and plug this thing into the quadratic formula. All right, now everybody, you got to remember this one, okay? And even adults remember the quadratic formula. They probably don't remember it. They might remember it, right? They at least remember the name, the quadratic formula, because it's so scary, man. We've got x equals the opposite of b, so -5, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 5 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is -1. Boom. I actually like to put like a little end of my square roots just as like, hey, this is all the stuff that's in there, right? Just so nothing seems like it falls out of that bad boy. And it is all over. That's a common mistake. People start the fraction line right here with just the square root and don't put the -5 in there. Gotta have the -5 in there, okay? All over 2a. 2 times 3. Ooh, that was a terrible 3. I kind of moved a little bit. All right, so there we go. Ready to rock and roll. Sorry about that 3 there. Can I get it? Kind of making it worse. That's all right. Okay. So now let's do some evaluation here, right? And I do like to do this by hand or maybe pieces and parts with the calculator if the numbers get a little dicey. But let's see. So we got equals, -5. Can't do anything with that yet. Plus or minus. Let's deal with what's in the square root. I've got 5 squared, which is 25, minus 4 times 3 times -1. So when I do this, I like to think to myself, okay, you know, I'll jot down the 25 right now. But I have 2 negatives here, which I know is going to make that positive. And I'll just write down the positive right now. And then I just deal with 4 times 3 times 1. I'm not looking at the signs anymore because I already took care of that and put down the plus, okay? 4 times 3 is 12. And then this will all be over 6 here, right? 2 times 3 is 6. One more step there inside the radical. I've got 25 plus 12 is what, 37 divided by 6. Now, can I break down that radical? Okay, I do like a little factor tree thing. No, I can't break that down. 37's prime, right? It's only 1 in 37, so I can't do anything with that. So this is actually my final answer here. It's always nice when the number is, or when the answer is ugly like that, right? Because I can't do any simplifications. So this one over here is, I think, going to have a little bit that can happen there, at least in my brain I planned that. But this one here, that's it. That's done. We're done with that one all over, okay? Only tricky thing on this one was the start. Make sure it's equal to 0. Don't just start rolling with it. Otherwise, you will get the wrong answer, okay? What's inside the square root would have been wrong there. All right? Cool? Awesome? Moving on. So here I got my A, B, and C again. We could jot that down if we'd like. We could say, let's see here. A equals 2. B equals 10. And C equals 7, right? It's already equal to 0. Right? It's already in standard form, so we're ready to rock and roll. So let's do this thing. We got x equals the opposite of b, so -10, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 10 squared, minus 4 times a times c. All over 2 times a. Nice. All right, so now let's start multiplying some stuff, putting it together, all that good stuff, right? And I think we're gonna have some simplification, so I may, try to combine some steps on this one, if you guys don't mind. Any objections? Okay, cool. So we got 10 squared, which is 100, and we have minus 4 times 2 times 7. Okay, you know what? Maybe I won't combine steps. I don't want to confuse anybody. All right. So I know this is going to be negative because we have only one negative there. 4 times 2 is 8 times 7 is 56. All over 2 times 2 is 4. So if you wanted to combine that one and just get 44 in there, that's cool. I didn't want anyone to be like, wait, how did that happen? Get lost, and then you're like, I want to cry because I hate math. No crying in math. There's definitely crying in math. There's 100% some crying that happens in math. Happens to the best of us, man. All right, so I did 100 minus 56, which is 44. And now with this one, I can break that down. So we are going to do a little bit of simplifying here. A couple ways you can do this. You can do prime factors. Or when I see 44, I know it's divisible by 4, which gives me 11. And I know the square root of 4 is 2. So I can just pull that 2 out. But if you're a prime factorization type of person, boom, there's my pairs, okay? So now I have equals negative 10 plus or minus 2 came out, root 11 all over 4. We're not done yet, okay? All 3 of these are divisible by 2, so I will simplify to be negative 5 plus or minus 2 just becomes 1, square root 11 all over 2. The only way I can simplify like that is if all 3 pieces are divisible by the same number, okay? So, like as it sits right here, I can't just divide the 10 and the 4 by 2. I would need to have that coefficient here, which did work out, right? But if, say, I have the square root of 37 here, right? I can't break it down. I can't just simplify those 2 numbers. I have to do all 3 parts here. The coefficient in front of my radical, as well as those 2 terms. Cool? So don't improperly simplify. Sometimes people are like, did I just do too much? No, you did the wrong much, okay? You did the wrong thing. This is why I got the wrong answer, okay? So there we go. Beautiful. Interesting. They both ended up with negative 5 to start. So, anywho, both those are done. Had some simplifications. This is like your best case scenario. No simplifications, just done. But problems like this do happen on tests. So be ready for them. Be ready to break down with the factor tree and then simplify your 3 terms. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Quadratic formula is here to stay. Never going to go away until you're probably done with math classes in your life. But you never know. It might come back up at Thanksgiving dinner. People are like, hey, man, been working with the quadratic formula. You know it? And be like, yeah, bro, learn that stuff freshman year or whatever. You'll flex. It's cool. All right. See you later.